Alright, what is going on, everybody? Another series from the round of 32, the second round of Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers. This time, potentially the best American player out there, Daniel, versus SayMyName, or the better Vietnamese players. We will have a best of 5 in between the two. Aztecs will be the global ban from SayMyName, Vikings from Daniel. Daniel loses the Italians. To SayMyName snipe, SayMyName loses Chinese over here. The first two civilization, well, the first civilization pick for each player was lost to snipe. SayMyName will have Huns, Indians, Byzantines, Slavs, Berbers, Lithuanians available, whereas on the other side, Mayans, Japanese, Mongols, Malians, Portuguese, and Khmer will be the civilizations for Daniel. With that being said, let's take a look at the home maps. So, SayMyName picked islands, Daniel goes for slopes. The other home maps will be Gold Rush for Daniel, and SayMyName will finish off the day with Bay. And now we can jump into the first game over here. So let's launch up Capture Age. In the blue, we're going to have, on the southern part of the map, Daniel as Malians. And to the north, it is going to be Huns for SayMyName in red. Two... Well, what is that? That's interesting. I have no idea what that is and why it actually occurs at 011. There is no response, so that might just be a bugged prompt. I have absolutely no idea. Like, that's probably not a clue on who wins, because, like, we don't know if SayMyName is the one reacting to a GG call later on from his opponent, or SayMyName was the one calling GG first. So this actually gives absolutely no clue for us here. Luckily, I don't want spoilers like that. Anyways, we are going to have... as I said, SayMyName playing Huns here, which is a somewhat rare sight in Arabia nowadays, but it is still a good civilization for this map, whereas Daniel is going to be playing Malians. Both civs are fairly versatile over here on this map, so I think this actually is a pretty decent and interesting civilization matchup. The gold mine for Daniel at the back is relatively workable, although not perfect. Stone mine, acceptable. Berries on the front is not so great, especially the hill in front. Other side, SayMyName's berries are also on the front. His gold at the back is very nice, but the right side is very open. Both players are super close to each other, so this is going to be interesting to take a look at. And you see that the players will actually bump into each other in the middle of the map, and they will both actually... have to scout quite a lot to find the opponent. You see that this is exactly going to hurt Daniel, who probably doesn't know where his opponent is at right now, and he's looking for him over here. Finds the stone, so now he knows. Based on that stone mine, he knows where your opponent is at, but this is always a dangerous scenario when you are this close to your opponent, especially because the thing is that you don't expect the town center to be out here, you expect the town center to be some round over here, so you could accidentally run into a TC fire very, very easily over here. So Daniel... Drush here, I think, is going to be delayed compared to normal Drush, because you already see SayMyName going up to Feudal. SayMyName is going for a 20 pop Scouts build over here, fueled by at least 2 or 3 deer being pushed in, as he's looking for his opponent, and he will soon find his opponent, I believe, here based on the gold mine. And militias looping all the way around. They might actually hit this wood line, as Daniel is going for, indeed, Drush into Archers is the name of the game. Goes for an earlier loom than normal, because he wants to make sure this Vulture doesn't get sniped down, as he sees the Scout from SayMyName. Now he has loom, but SayMyName still has that Scout full HP, and when that actually reaches Feudal Age, it's going to be enough to kill that Vulture. I don't know what Daniel's doing here, but it looks like he's just exploring the map with the militias, or... Don't tell me that Daniel has no idea where his opponent is at. No way! Daniel just realizes that his opponent is here. Oh, the disaster! There is no other explanation to why he has the militias here. I guess he saw the stone here, he saw the secondary gold, and he thought his opponent is somewhere around over here. But no, his opponent was over here, and that rush is gonna be awfully late. Now, that being said, the Drush is still going to do a lot of damage here, so that could very well be a Voyager picked. So as bad as this Drush was from Daniel, it actually does yield at least 1 Voyager kill, which is already big advantage. In fact, that's going to be a second Voyager kill for Danny Boy. So this is a perfect example of, you know, a very, very bad execution, sort of. Although, I don't really want to blame this on Daniel, this is tough. Like, he was sort of following clues here in this direction. He may have been very unlucky here, or he may actually have made a bad decision. I feel like based on this stone mine and this gold, it's really hard to say where the opponent is at. I would still say that this is a more likely spot, but obviously in the heat of the battle, you have to make a decision very fast. I don't think that we should blame this on Daniel, so this is more of a very unlucky scenario, but ended up being decent because he killed 2 villagers at the end of the day, so SayMyName is gonna be down by 2. He is going to clean this one up, but this is buying enough time for Daniel to voe himself up completely, and that's the entire point of a rush. It buys you time until you voe yourself, and it looks like SayMyName is coming forward with the tower. I wonder if he assumes that his opponent is going for a rush FC. Now, those barriers could definitely be exposed to a towering here, and truth being told, when SayMyName sent his villagers, he didn't see Daniel reaching feudal age. So I assume he thought this is a Drush FC, and the appropriate reaction to that would be to come forward with a tower, but to a Drush into archers, you don't react with a tower, as it seemed like there was a spearman popping out, and the SayMyName is gonna have to bail out on this tower. This is a disaster so far for SayMyName. Lost 2 villagers, these villagers will also have to come back home, and he also didn't cancel this tower just yet. There is the archer range, and we'll see if he goes for a different tower position. Both players can still afford a tower. Let's see if Daniel sees that tower coming up. He should anticipate that he will get towered elsewhere. He sees that the villagers are gone from here. He sees the tower is gone. So you kind of have to assume that your opponent will try to tower you now elsewhere. So with that, Daniel is only 2 on gold, which is not an awful lot of villagers on gold when you're trying to go for an archer build. Villager count 3 in the favor of Daniel, because SayMyName also has a lot of idle time. He's got both eco upgrades from feudal age, though Daniel is lacking horse color, and it seems like Daniel, by the time he realizes there is a tower upcoming over here on the wood line, he's gonna have to evacuate this, and that is actually pretty bad for him, because it's not like he has a lot of great wood lines. Like, yeah, sure, there is this one, there is this one, and there is this one, but all of these are rather small, and all of these could be denied by archers or potentially towers. Now, with that, it looks like SayMyName is not adding any ranged component to his army, so what he could be playing for is just sending these villagers back home, and then potentially trying to boom up to castle age, but this is a risky call. You're up against archers, and you don't have anything to stop those archers with. You can need skirmishers in this case if you're SayMyName. He soon will have the wood for this one, but it would be overly ambitious to just play this one without skirms. Indeed, he's going to mix in skirms right now. The tower will stay up here for a long time, so that's going to be annoying for Daniel. And we will have 2 archers, 2 spearmen coming forward. This could actually do quite a lot of damage in SayMyName's eco, because by the time the skirmishers are going to be arriving, these guys will already be hitting this wood line or the gold mine as well. And it's cute that SayMyName is actually quick-hauling that. Now he decides that, okay, I need some bigger walls because the archers are coming this way, but I'm really unsure if this is actually going to be going up, especially with the villager being locked on the outside. So that could be one that villager, and there is still an open tile there. No more open tiles, but I feel like if Daniel picks off another villager here, he will be happier than ever. So yeah, the archers could still dive in. I feel like for Daniel, you kind of have to dive in. This army isn't super expensive, and if you can trade 2 archers and 2 spears to potentially 2 villagers, that's an absolute dream scenario for you. Now that the skirmisher is in battle, the scouts will jump this army, and eventually that's, I think, once again, a very good engagement for Daniel. Traded basically 2 spears, 2 archers, to what was at least 1 more villager, and 2 or 3 scouts. That's actually a very nice value for him. And if you look at his resources, it's looking much better for him going into Castle Age. His opponent has no real tools of breaching his base, which means that right now Daniel has a very good control over this game. Now, while we are having a little bit more passive part of the game, it is worth talking about the players themselves. Both of these players are mostly team game focused. So Daniel, as you see in the name tag, he's got a WWP clan tag in him. It's the Chinese clan with the Singaporean sponsor that he's also part of. And he mostly plays team games. He plays a lot of team games, especially with the Chinese community. I think he also speaks a bit of a Chinese. I don't have 100% information on this, but I think he's actually living somewhere in China, maybe doing a PhD or so. As I said, I'm not completely familiar with the topic, but as far as I know, he's pretty involved in the Chinese community as well. In fact, I think in some instances he has even been acting as a middleman for certain Chinese players when it comes to handling signups and, you know, tournament administration stuff. So He's mostly playing team games, even though he's sometimes on 1v1s as well, but his main game time, I think, is in team games with the Chinese community and other high-level players. SayMyName is sort of similar in that aspect. SayMyName mostly plays team games with the Vietnamese community and overall high-level team games. So both of these players are more of a team game players, even though their individual skill is there to be able to successful in 1v1s. For now, SayMyName is going for a very feudal heavy push here with 9 skirms on the field. The skirms do have +1 attack, no defense upgrades. And so far, Daniel has been holding this wall, and it looks like he's going to launch a counterattack with all the archers. He is almost up to castle age, and those crossbows will be devastating to SayMyName's eco. SayMyName's eco is a little bit unbalanced, and he's just about to buy himself up into castle age, but that's going to be a very late castle age. We're clicking up at 2017 is going to be very late over here compared to his opponent, who is going to unleash about 10 crossbows on his eco in a matter of moments. So I feel like this is a little bit early from Daniel, because you want these archers to start attacking when you have crossbow and bodkin, which is something that is going to come in for Daniel right now. Nice last second market wall over here from Daniel. That was so crucial. Otherwise the scouts would have actually run inside, and that would have caused problems. But now Daniel, with crossbow and bodkin, he's going to be able to break in here. He will still be focusing on this fight, but now he's got crossbows, so he's going to be able to pick off the scouts very easily, and the skirms alone won't be getting through the walls. And this is the problem for SayMyName. He's still 2 minutes away from castle. And even though these contingency walls are nice, he's already losing like half of his farming eco when it comes to idle time. And those crossbows will just march in here. And once again, look at this, they will just deny like 80% of the farming space, and they will pressure this wall. I would prefer if they would try getting through this wall, because that would be a little easier. But you see that SayMyName is going to have to send back all his skirms. Needless to say is the fact that he's going to have to go for a lead skirm at this stage, and his eco idle time is what really is concerning right now for him. There's going to be siege workshop for Daniel, so the way that he is preparing to fight the skirmishers is going to be with mangonels. It looks like SayMyName had to make another defensive tower for himself. He might even have to buy 100 stone for that, because he already has a tower up. So Daniel was able to force a defensive tower here. Next wave of crossbows coming in. If you can unite that 2 blobs of crossbows, that could be extremely devastating against this feudal age army over here. Still, the idle time that's raising like crazy. Look at this. Just up in the skies, Castle Age is in, and SayMyName can afford the Elite Skirm upgrade. Daniel might actually try committing to this one, as I think a Mangonel will soon be coming in. Now the play for Daniel would, I would say, be just try to pull these crossbows out here. This might even be a too late move from him, and it could have been better if he just tries getting through those walls and looping all the way around, because he might actually have this army intercepted. Now, obviously, this is forcing SayMyName to defend over here, so that's definitely an added benefit here, but I feel like you could have actually tried escaping with that army a little earlier, because it's -1 crossbow. Elite Skirm is just in, so I feel like Daniel has lost at least 4 crossbows for either not bailing out on this aggression earlier, or potentially just trying to run through here. He could have tried using this hill to break down this wall, and then break out here and loop around. There's the Mangonel coming in, and SayMyName's army is basically exclusively skirmishers. He's got 3 scouts on the field, but it doesn't really change anything. So mangonels and crossbows will be pretty devastating as this one, as Daniel has a nice and easy 7 Vultures lead, though he doesn't have wheelbarrows, so that is only 4 right now. Daniel will be playing with 2 TCs soon, goes for a monastery, so he's expecting knights from his opponent as he's mangoing down that range. The mangonel is actually firing up hills here, because I think that range is on a hill. It's a little bit hard to say, because the edge touches this hill, and the other edge touches the other hill here, so it's hard to say if this is on a hill or not, but I think it is, so the Mangonel technically has to fire up hills. Still, there's going to be a Mangonel coming in here for SayMyName. He will probably try saving this range, and he kind of has to, because if he doesn't save this range, he's going to be unable to produce skirms. In fact, if Daniel went for a stable, and with Malians, that's definitely a possibility. Nice hit over there with the Mangonel. A stable here would be extremely devastating. Just 2 or 3 knights would kill all the skirmishers and all the Mangonels. In fact, we'll see if Daniel does that. Right now, it doesn't seem like it. In fact, it's a couple of crossbows moving to this corner. I wonder why. But the range is definitely going to go down now. You could even think about trying to take down the stable here if you are Daniel. And SayMyName, he's waiting for his own mangonels, but I feel like this is just giving time for Daniel to mix in his own knights. Though Daniel is stubborn and he doesn't really want to. And for now, he will just be playing with crossbows. And also adding quite a lot of vultures of stone. He already has 5, which means that we could see a forward castle in the near future. Because that stone is going to pile up eventually. Skirm's launching a counterattack over here. I think Daniel's going to realize that, hey, my opponent is not here. Bloodline's actually finished for SayMyName, but I wonder why, because this is the only stable he has. So, no range for Cav Archers, he's not making knights, so the Bloodlines upgrade kind of feels useless at this very moment. The Elite Skirms might actually try to get a couple of Voyager picks, but eventually Mangonels will clean them up. That's a nice 1-for-0 from Daniel over there, and Daniel is stomping SayMyName right now, ladies and gentlemen. So I think I saw Daniel playing King of Desert free as I said, there's one Voyager lost over here, potentially a second one as well from Daniel. And one of the problems that I had with Daniel is like consistency in like within a set, and sometimes committing to a certain strategy he chose. That's how Mangonel pops out. That's a nice 1-for-0 for SayMyName, and he's going to lose the Mangonel. Ends up being a 1-for-1. There is another Mangonel coming out though, and the Mangonel could actually land a huge hit on the crossbows. Decides to fire on the other Mangonel though. Daniel splits away. Another Mangonel comes in, and this is still a 1-for-2 if you think about it. One Mangonel lost for a price of 2. Now the push stalls out for a moment as the skirmishers are coming back trying to intercept that army of crossbows now that there is no Mangonel support. Mangonel coming back over here. Still, imagine if Daniel just had a couple of knights on the field. He would be able to stomp this one so easily. Still, he's got 12 on stone, so it's no question that that's going to be a castle. The question is, where is that going to be? And now you see the Bloodlines upgrade. There is going to be stables coming up at the back of SayMyName's eco, who also added the TC over here at the back, so his food eco is actually pretty decent. And so far he's been absorbing the damage quite nicely, repairing the siege workshop so he doesn't lose it, and he will try to get another Mangonel out in a moment. Scaleboarding coming in. The problem that... oh my god! He looked away for a second, and that could have been even bigger. It's only 3 skirmishers dying, but a lot of them are very weak right now. So the problem with the knights here is that you need quite a lot of time to get a reasonable amount of knights to take on what is 26 crossbows with +1, 2, +1. Though Onyx stables work faster, so that helps a little bit. But even if you go for knights, if your opponent goes for camels, that's still going to be very problematic. And Voyager count is still very close though. That's definitely something that helps SayMyName in this case, that despite all the punishment that he has been taking, Daniel wasn't really able to inflict awful lot of damage on the opponent here. Thumb Ring coming in. I didn't even know Malians have Thumb Ring, man. You see that so rarely. By this time, Malians are usually switching into cavalry, and eventually that's something that Daniel has to stop doing as well. There is Bloodlines Husbandry, and I wonder if there is an overchop or not. These are only skirms, that's the lucky thing for Daniel here. If these were crossbows, this would be a lot more Voyagers, especially if they had the ballistics. Speaking of ballistics, Daniel has all these crossbows, yet no ballistics for himself. And now, that's a lot of Mangonels coming out here. If Daniel had just one knight, he would be able to destroy 4 of these so easily. And I feel like SayMyName is getting a chance to come back into this game. That's going to be a 1-for-1. Because SayMyName is playing with fire, or Daniel's playing with fire here. Just one big Mangonel shot and those crossbows go down very easily. The Elite Skirms could clean this one up, and now the Knights are coming. Knights, only +1 defense, though that's premature. That's too early for SayMyName. He has to wait until +2 defense, and I think he has just shown the Knights. So that was definitely a bad decision from him. He should wait until +2 defense, because +1 defense Knights won't really be able to deal with a blob of 30 crossbows, and you will see what happens if he tries. Trying to snap down a Mangonel, that could be nice. Elite Skirms trying to pick off the crossbows, and that's the idea. You're just using the Knights to snap down the Mangonels, and now it's a Mangonel coming from the other side. Skirms on the way as well. Daniel now switching to his own Knights though, and that would be very devastating for SayMyName. Mangonel tries to take a shot. Skirmishers getting a nice and close engagement against those crossbows. If SayMyName had +2 defense here, and he could definitely just balance out Zico and grab that, he should be able to dominate this fight. With +2 defense, even +1 attack could be something that he could squeeze in. He should be able to overrun those crossbows really easily. Onyx stables work very fast. And Daniel is sitting on 1100 stone right now, which is Still no castle for him. So I feel... Oh, there is the forward castle. If SayMyName gets +2 defense here, he can actually stop this one, but it's still 1 minute away, so I feel like prioritizing forging over +2 defense may have been a bad decision, though we have to add that that siege workshop is awfully close to that castle foundation, and I think that now SayMyName is taking over, especially if he starts selling all the wood that he has had. Hunnic stables are crazy fast when it comes to spamming knights, and I don't think that this castle is going up for Daniel. Daniel's making knights himself, but those knights have +2 defense, no attack upgrades, though it is 9 knights and 25 crossbows against what is 17 knights. This is a huge commitment here from SayMyName. The Mangonel is coming in here to support as well. We'll see if Daniel notices that and tries to snipe it. The Mangonel needs a huge hit here, otherwise this game is lost for SayMyName, I believe. Daniel jumps on the Mangonel, picks it off, and the crossbows are still alive. Knight numbers, it's 8 knights versus 12. The knights are a little bit better for SayMyName, but I feel like that was an overcommitment. That was a massive overcommitment from him. He needed the Mangonel to land a big shot on the crossbows to even the odds, because there was just so many crossbows supporting the knights. And the knights are very good at becoming a meat shield for the crossbows to support. Here comes the castle from Daniel. If this castle goes up, I feel like he's gonna be able to secure this win for himself. It is a question if it actually is going up, but it seems like he's having the upper hand getting that up. SayMyName is trying to get some more knights on the field, but now camos are in for Daniel. The Mangonel needs an enormous shot here. Tries to target the villagers. One villager does go down. There is no knights from Daniel to snap this, so the castle will be stopped temporarily. 102 villagers against 90. Both players have a very long and extended castle age here. This is 40 minutes into the game, and we still have castle age going on now. This is an overcommitment though from SayMyName. It is to be careful. If he loses his army here to the camels and the crossbows in the narrow choke points, Daniel is gonna be able to launch a counterattack, and indeed that's the case. SayMyName drops down to 9 military, and this is the time. Now it's time to shine for Daniel, because he's gonna be able to get that castle up, which is going to be very annoying. It's an extremely important position on this map. Now SayMyName is doing a nice job expanding to the right side, but as I said, Malians have a pretty decent answer to the Hunnic Knight switch in the form of the camels. The camels do have +1/+2 as well, and there is no response to the camels right now from SayMyName. He's only knights. In fact, he's not even making more knights. I feel like SayMyName is gonna die here, because what can he exactly do against a flood of camels and knights now, especially when those crossbows are being kept alive so well by Daniel. Like, I think one of the keys to Daniel's success in this game so far is being able to keep those crossbows alive. I'm not sure how many of them he lost, but ever since he lost those couple of crossbows trying to escape SayMyName's base, he has been absolutely outstanding when it comes to protecting his crossbow numbers. That's not a fight that Daniel wants to take though, although it seems like he commits beneath the castle. Might have been a bit of overly ambitious decision from him. He's spamming outposts everywhere, so he's going to see wherever SayMyName goes. He's a little bit low on wood, but he's gonna have defensive castles and should have a relatively safe eco. And he's also going to click up into Imperial, whereas SayMyName is prioritizing important upgrades, but I feel like he should be thinking about Imperial Age himself, because Daniel's gonna beat him to Imperial quite a bit, I would say. So crossbows could actually find a couple of gold miners, as at the end of the day, Daniel has a very good scouting all across the map. If you take a look at this one, he sees the neutral gold here. The other neutral gold is over there on the left side, and Imperial Age now coming in here for SayMyName, but that's going to be quite a bit of a difference, and apparently a couple of knights sneak in at the left, killing a couple of villagers from SayMyName. In fact, they don't even need to sneak in, they just run in here. Close to the castle, and now it seems like Daniel's going to start committing against the stables, lowering the amount of potential knights that he could encounter. A second castle will soon be a thing for SayMyName, and I would be massively surprised if that castle wasn't placed over here. The problem that SayMyName is facing is that he doesn't really have the unit composition to deal with a lot of Malian camels, and Malian camels with Farimba would be an absolutely beastly unit composition over here. Huns can switch into halberdiers, Huns could switch into cav archers. The problem is time, and I don't see SayMyName being able to react to that one. It seems like he's going to launch a big counterattack though with the knights, and that could actually find a lot of villager kills here. On this screen you have 55 villagers from Daniel, so this knight counterattack could do an awful lot of damage. Daniel hasn't noticed this just yet. Now the knights run in. Obviously these are not cavalier, but they will still do an awful lot of damage here to Daniel's eco, who is definitely having the weaker eco among the two players, and that's going to be a lot of dead villagers for Danny Boy. SayMyName actually has 23 villagers killed compared to 7, so despite all the pressure that Daniel has done in the face of his opponent, SayMyName killed a lot more villagers over the course of the game. It is 101 villagers only for Daniel. It's a very, very low villager count for a post-Imperial Camel spam. Now, the good news for him is that he's about to clean this one up. And more importantly, he actually destroyed the blacksmith, which means that even if his opponent reaches Imperial, it's going to be tough for him to get his upgrades in. Another castle comes in here for SayMyName, and SayMyName wants to switch into Heavy Cav Archer. As you see, the range is coming up, but he only has Botkin, has +1 defense on the Bloodlines, and the Husbandry is there for him, as this castle is gonna go up just in time. And the thing is that Heavy Camo takes quite a lot of time to be teched into. Daniel has 18 camos, and we are supposed to have Trebs coming in for both players. Trebs already out for SayMyName. SayMyName's gold count isn't impressing me though, so yeah, he's trying to switch into Cav Archer, but Cav Archer is rather gold heavy, especially if you consider that you need a lot of upgrades for them. Bracer, Chemistry, Thumb Ring. I don't think Thumb Ring is there for SayMyName. The score is still surprisingly close between the two players, but now for Daniel, I would say that he should think about piling up resources for Farimba, because he also needs to start transitioning to his late game army composition, and soon the raids with the Farimba Light Cavs should start. Couple of knights counter-attacking here, but they won't really be able to find a lot unless they actually are able to hit that wood line. It is 114 villagers against 135. Trap being set up to trap down that TC over there, as SayMyName loses his original starting base. Bracer Chemistry on the way. Tumbling will still be needed for those Cav Archers, and maybe even Husbandry. I'm not sure if they have that. It looks like the Camos will drive in and try to snipe the trap over here, so this castle is could be problematic for SayMyName here. And you also have to consider that those Cav Archers do not have heavy CA on them. Although the Light Cav could dive in and try to snipe the trap here. That's probably the plan for SayMyName. Cav Archers, for now, holding this one quite nicely. We'll have a couple of stables coming in for SayMyName, so he wants to spam Hussar to the left of Daniel's base. The TC does go down over here, as this castle will go down as well. It's important to note that this TC is so important for SayMyName. That's basically all his gold income that he has left. So that if he loses all that gold income, this is game over. And I'm not impressed by the cavalry number or the Cav Archer numbers right now. It is 14 Cav Archers that are just finishing chemistry, and I feel like now SayMyName wants to attack into Halberdier, but this is a situation where it's too far gone. He's going to be off from gold, and the thing is that by the time he techs into Halberdier, I think he's gonna get overrun by crossbows, camos. Those guys now already have Farimba, and as I said, the next step for Daniel is to start teching into Light Cav, add 5-10 more stables, and just flood the map with Farimba Cavalier, or Farimba Light Cav. SayMyName still has the eco lead, but as you see, the players are more and more far apart in terms of score, and that is showing how SayMyName is dropping in villager count really rapidly. You see all these villagers dying, and now Daniel takes over in terms of villager kills. And camos are also pretty decent against Cav Archers, so especially if these Cav Archers do not have like the heavy CA upgrade, Farimba camos will still be pretty devastating against them. Honey traps actually are more accurate, so it's easier for SayMyName to protect that castle, but it's a matter of having his eco completely crippled, and he's 169 population for Daniel, 120 for SayMyName. SayMyName has nowhere to go, and he's losing villager after villager, dropping in villager count quite rapidly. He's down to 6 military. He's got nothing to stop this one. Even if he switches into pikemen here, his opponent Daniel could actually switch into Malian champions, and they will just eat the Halberdier. Daniel could go for hand cannoneer. Daniel could go for even Jberos against this one. Either of those would be able to edge out victory over here. As SayMyName is trying to get a couple of light cav raids happening over here, but that isn't really doing much, especially since Daniel has a couple of camos left over. He can use them to kind of prevent those raids. SayMyName is sitting on 4,500 wood, but he calls the GG. Daniel takes game number 1 in here, in what was a very, very back and forth game, I have to say. For a long time, it seemed like Daniel is going to be the one taking over, but suddenly after that raid, it seems like SayMyName was going to be able to hold. I have to say that the fact that the left side of his base fell actually hurt him so badly, because one of those gold mines were so crucial. Still, for the majority of the game, Daniel was leading, and he was able to close this game out at the end. Though I feel like he has given his opponent a little bit more comeback potential than he should have had. So, that means that Huns are gone for Say My Name. Daniel loses Malians. So, Say My Name's highest available civilization pick is now gone. And Say My Name either goes for islands or we go to Bay. So, let me open up that recorded game. So, we will be jumping into game number 2 over here. And that is going to be islands. So, welcome to islands. We are gonna have Daniel playing as Portuguese in blue. On the left, right side will be Say My Name Byzantines in red. Byzantines is definitely a civilization for players that are not confident in their fire galley micro, I would say. It's a civilization where you get a so big boost to your fire galleys that it's like, if you're really not confident you will win the field age fire galley fight, you pick Byzantines, because in the long run, Byzantines isn't an amazing civilization, because they don't really have a great eco, but it can help you win field age fire galley fights, and that is something that is really, really helpful. Other side, Portuguese, probably one of the best island civilizations. In fact, I feel like they are better than Italians. Italians seem a little overrated. I see why Italians are good on islands. It's a matter of, I think, Portuguese, with the current balance, potentially Feitorias in the long run, but more importantly, cheaper gold cost, higher HP on their ships. I feel like Portuguese are a little bit better as an island civilization in 1v1. The two players have very, very similar islands. Both players do have relatively safe gold mines. The stone mine here, especially the secondary one, is quite bad for Daniel. It looks like we have a sort of a side dock play here from Say My Name. So it is from Daniel. Daniel is actually going to have a lot of fish to work with over here, and they're really far apart. This is going to be a galley play from Daniel, and we'll see what Say My Name is up to. He's also playing galleys. Now, that's the element of surprise, apparently, because with Byzantines, you don't get any bonus on your galleys. So I guess what he's gambling on is that Daniel believes it's fire galleys, because with Byzantines, everybody, including myself, would say, hey, it's gonna be fire galleys because the Byzantine fire galleys are so good. So he wants the element of surprise and say, hey, I'm playing with galleys. But here's the problem. Portuguese are just going to outplay you with galleys all day, all night, because Portuguese galleys have more HP, they are cheaper, so there is a reason why you are using fire galleys with Byzantines, and I really like that he's trying to surprise his opponent. I just feel like this surprise isn't going to be very, very bad for Daniel. In fact, it's going to be good for Daniel because, as I said, Portuguese galleys are cheaper and stronger. What else do you want? That being said, it seems like he's expecting his opponent to play fire galleys here, which is a sort of a surprising element as well. We have 4 fishing ships working for Say My Name, and we have 4 fishing ships as well for Daniel, but it seems like we might just see the players booming into Castle Age here. This would definitely be one of the more passive islands games, if that is the case, because by the time they find each other, as they are directly on the opposing sides of the map, it's gonna be basically Castle Age. So fletching on the way for Daniel. Because the fishing ecos are intact for both players, that means that Castle Age is going to come in really fast over here. If the fishing ecos are both intact, they will actually boost your food eco so much that Castle Age is going to be coming in pretty soon. So Daniel's confident that his opponent is going to be in this direction. He's looking for forward docks. And the reason why he's looking for forward docks is because he's like, hey, I'm up against Byzantines. They have to play fire galleys, and he's probably gonna be like, galleys? What? What type of sorcery is this? But then he realizes, hey, I have 132 HP on mine, you have 120, and mine are also cheaper, so you know what, it's not that big of a deal. Now the demo actually snuck past, and we'll see if the demo is capable of sniping some fishing ships over here, or just chilling on the shoreline. So at this point, I would say that the two players have a pretty comparable Castle Age time over here, but that just helps the Portuguese player once again, because in a straight-up even eco war galley fight, that is something that the Portuguese just love a lot more. Good old-fashioned galley micro is what we're seeing so far. The demo is sneaking past, and I feel like this is starting to be intentional from Say My Name. He's looking for a fishing eco. I'm not sure if this was the plan the whole time, that he's trying to demo snipe the fishing eco, but I think that is the plan over here. We'll see if this guy actually gets intercepted by a galley. Yes, Daniel sees it, and he's trying to block it as well, or not. I don't think that Daniel has seen this. He's probably too focused on microing this. So this demo could actually land a big connection over there on the fishing ships, because Daniel is focused on microing this, and here comes the demo, and that was a nice idea from SayMyName. I'm gonna give him that. That he actually knew that a galley micro is something that both players will focus on. But if I actually manage to sneak a demo raft through, I can demo snipe some of your fishing ships because you have no time to react, and his gamble paid off. That's basically 2 Voyagers killed if you think about it that way. So he's gonna be on 4 fishing ships versus his opponent being only on 2, and that's exactly sort of the lead that you kind of have to grab with Byzantines. Otherwise you would just get outboomed. But if you're able to snipe 2 fishing eco like that, that's definitely going to be something. It looks like Daniel is a little bit faster selling his stone. There is a market coming up as well for SayMyName, so we're going to see Castle Age coming in for both in a matter of moments. But obviously Daniel worked with slightly better market rates, almost ready to glow up, whereas SayMyName also selling his stone. The 2 players are very, very close in resources, but obviously if SayMyName's extra fishing eco here helps quite immensely, so I think SayMyName is going to be able to beat Daniel into Castle Age here a little bit. The demo snipe could actually come in clutch, because that is really helping SayMyName right now. At the end, it is going to be completely identical Castle Age times. Still, the fact that you could preserve some of your fishing eco helps a lot, even though SayMyName had more TC idle time, so probably the 2 compensate for each other to a certain extent. So we have 16 versus 18 galleys right now, but as I said, the problem that the Portuguese have over here, or the Byzantines have over here over Portuguese, is that Portuguese will just have better galleys and cheaper of them. Like you see, 15 galleys with 1300 HP versus 18 galleys with 1600. So it's more galleys, but the HP is not that big of a difference, although it's 300. So it seems like the overall condition of SayMyName's ships are actually better. If you take a look at the percentage bar over here, these are on average higher HP ships than his opponent's ships are. Anyways, we're gonna have a 4th dock coming in here for SayMyName for some more galleys. It looks like Daniel will only be playing with Frey for a time being. By the way, I'm just noticing that SayMyName somehow lost his scout. I have no idea how. He might have been killed by galleys while we weren't paying attention, but at the end of the day, I feel like it could have been just a boar, maybe. Maybe he tried luring in a boar with the scout, and that failed, but he definitely doesn't have the scout, whereas his opponent does. Not really a big deal, just something I wanted to point out. So, we are going to have War Galley Bot King coming in here for both players. War Galley is lagging behind for SayMyName a little bit. It actually is very late compared to his opponent. That 20 seconds difference could be a life-changing thing here in a galley fight like this. So, you see that the Byzantine eco is still, as I said, not up in the skies, as we are probably going to have universities for ballistics soon as well. See, 20 seconds difference is a disaster for SayMyName here. And now, the better, stronger War galleys will jump on his galleys here, and this is actually an excellent fight for Daniel. Now it's War galleys as well, and the numbers are still in the favor of SayMyName though, and Daniel is losing his edge here. Dock-wise, you see that there's 4 docks versus 4 docks now, so that is even. Ballistics on the way for Daniel. SayMyName is actually behind in that aspect as well. So that means that we are gonna have ballistics as well for Daniel. He's got 10 ships against 20 though. So the numbers are definitely on the side of SayMyName. Voyager count is even for the 2 players. The quality of the ships is much more in the favor of Daniel though. So higher HP, and he also has ballistics, whereas his opponent does not. Daniel assembles his fleet, but it's only 10 ships right now, and the production is actually fairly consistent, so I'm not sure why he's still this low on ships, but it seems like his opponent has a much more consistent production. University is in for SayMyName as well for ballistics. I assume he wants to wait until he takes that fight with ballistics, and he's got the numbers to scare away Daniel for the time being, so that shouldn't really be a big deal for him. Both players will be playing on 1 TC. For now, 14 ships against 23. Remember that the fishing eco is still alive for SayMyName, which helps immensely when it comes to food eco. It delays your need to transition to a farming eco, whereas as you see, Daniel already has to start adding farms. So, for now, SayMyName's ships are more abundant. It is a 24 against 16, so that's a 50% advantage for SayMyName, 2500 compared combined HP over here versus only 1100. There's a couple more galleys in the middle, but Daniel's navy isn't really together, and he could quickly get overrun by awful lot of war galleys. And it seems like, as weird and gimmicky as it sounds like, the Byzantine war galley play is working out here. I feel like this is not powered by Byzantines though, this is powered by SayMyName keeping his fishing eco alive, and the demo snipe could be so impactful, because that's basically the only difference between the two players' economies. Daniel not giving up on this one, obviously. He knows that his galleons or war galleys are better than his opponents are, so he can just bring in some more. Now it's 22 against 29, and eventually he's gonna catch up. You have to keep in mind though that, as I said, the 4 fishing eco working here helps immensely, whereas Daniel only has 2, and that doesn't seem like a big difference, but it actually is. 2 extra fishing ships working for you the whole game is a huge amount of eco extra. So here's the big war galley fight. You're gonna have SayMyName jumping and juking around over here, as I think this is actually enough for SayMyName. 14 ships versus 21 from SayMyName. He's got a bit more HP. It's 1700 for Daniel and 2400 for SayMyName. He could actually take this fight. So here it is. You have to keep in mind, as we have a Caravel in the navy here as well, that Daniel is not specifically a water player. He's more like a land player. He's good on hybrid maps as well, but I think among the two players, SayMyName is a slightly better water player. That mostly comes from the fact that he has played with Vietnamese team in the Escape Champions League, and that had a lot of water maps. So I've seen like 4v4 islands maps and so on in that tournament. Whereas Daniel, he isn't really playing in a lot of water-heavy tournaments. In fact, many tournaments nowadays do not have any clear water maps like islands. And now it seems like this is a cleanup. Daniel is losing his numbers, and he's gonna be slowly pushed back. He tries to get a lot of stone for himself. I wonder why. Like, he might actually try defensive castle, or he might have actually been thinking about, hey, if my opponent is not pushing me, I'm just gonna land him with a castle and organ guns. But now Daniel lost his entire navy. He's down to 5 ships, as he is going for a couple more caravels, fire ships, caravels. So it's a little bit wacky for him, and he's also heavily in need of buying resources here, as he went for a multiple TC approach. I assume that the reason why he fell behind in water is because he went for what is a free TC approach, and that's a much bigger investment than a 1 TC build is from SayMyName. Now, if Daniel is able to start booming, that's going to show its strength in the long run, but the real question is if Daniel is going to be alive by then, because he's losing his docks. Obviously, with the stone that he's mining, he's going to try and redock, so he will try to drop a castle on the shoreline and redock. But you also have to consider that some of his resources, like this wood line, for example, could be potentially denied by the war galleys. Fishing eco could be sunk as well. And if you look at SayMyName, he's doing a 1 TC build, only dropping TC number 2 right now, but more importantly, he's clicking into Imperial. Those 4 fishing ships working for him the entire game are really coming in clutch, and you see that he's transitioning into fire galleys or fire ships once again, because he wants the Byzantine fast fires in early Imperial for himself. So the cheaper Imperial Age from Byzantines helps you a lot. This is one of the reasons why Byzantine is a very underdog, like Water Sith. Their fire ships are devastating, their early Imperial could be devastating, and an early Imperial fast fire ship switch from Byzantines is definitely something that you have to pay attention for. Only 2 minutes away from Imperial, whereas Daniel is nowhere close to Impig here. And now I think SayMyName can soon start thinking about landing on the opponent's island, because he's definitely having the power to do so. And the funny thing here is that it's one thing that he's outnumbering his opponent 40-3 in terms of military numbers, but he's only behind by 10 wheels. He's halfway up to Imperial, only behind by 10 wheels, and he's got a 20 times larger army than his opponent does. This game feels so over. I mean, Daniel will try to redock, but at this very moment, SayMyName has ultimate water control, and SayMyName is gonna be in Imperial in a matter of moments, and he could potentially land. It is a question what you land with, because I don't see any barracks whatsoever. If you were Italians here, you would just land with condottieri. There is careening for SayMyName. I wonder if it's for a transport ship specifically, or he just wants to get some more extra pierce armor on his units. Both of these helps, obviously, but I'm not sure if careening actually comes in here because he wants to transport 10 villagers through. He's 6 on stone now, so he definitely wants to... Well, there is a couple of things he could do, especially with Byzantines that have stronger building. I would say you can play this one passive and just land here, drop a castle here, and play for neutral resources and starving your opponent out of resources. What you have to keep in mind is that starving out a Portuguese player out of resources is nearly impossible, so you might actually go for a much more aggressive landing play here. Daniel is also relatively close to picking up to Imperial over here, but Galleon coming in as well. Bracer should be a thing soon for SayMyName, and that means that wood lines like this, wood lines like this, wood lines like this potentially could be denied, and you see that against fire ships, a castle redocking like that works nicely, but war galleys will just melt that dock as well. And the thing is that those docks will go down really fast, and then you will have to keep rebuilding and rebuilding them. And his eco is now getting better and better, so it's 18 villagers lead now, but it doesn't change the fact that he's still in Castle Age and his opponent is an Imperial. Soon with Galleon. Interesting is the decision that we're seeing chemistry faster than Galleon. I wonder if this is going to be for landing with bombard cannons, because he already has a blacksmith, so all he needs is a siege workshop, and he could actually try getting a couple of bombard cannons in and support them with galleons to try to take down buildings. Or otherwise, I don't really know why chemistry was prioritized over bracer, unless you want to go for an early cannon galleon, which could also be the case. University being taken down is actually a nice decision from SayMyName here, because that is going to delay his opponent's progression towards chemistry, which can help a lot. Same thing could be told about the blacksmith. It could delay bracer. And delay tactics is also something that you have to consider here. The more you delay your opponent, the bigger chance you will have to inflict damage on his eco. And you also have to consider that the more you delay him, he's going to be consuming more and more of the resources that are safe, and he's going to have to venture towards these deposits. It seems like Daniel tries to redock on the other side. Once again, will be denied. Credits to SayMyName for perfectly distributing his ships across the map. Look at this. He's got a perfect vision all across the map. So no matter where Daniel tries to redock, it's going to be impossible for him. And he tries to get a castle up here with, look at this, 20 villagers are going to be pulled to make this castle. But there's a couple of galleons here, and SayMyName is not stopping. He's going for cannon galleons here. SayMyName is playing this one surprisingly well. I didn't expect him to play this good, because the thing is that he's been dominating Daniel here on water. And what I love about this play is that he didn't stop making a navy, and it's really hard with Byzantine eco. Like, Byzantine eco isn't amazing, yet he was able to sustain a very, very good level of galleon production, and simultaneously expand his eco as well. So really, this is a very, very nice game so far from SayMyName, who is putting in everything he's got into this one. Cannon galleon is in, so we should see cannon galleons coming in soon from SayMyName, alongside a transport ship. The transport is probably going for this one, as Daniel starts making Faetorias, knowing that in the long run, the Faetorias will help you immensely. As the transport villagers could actually come in here to drop a castle. I think that would be the safer play for SayMyName, but he might just go for the more aggressive one, especially with Byzantine buildings that withstand a lot of punishment. You could really make a case for a castle drop over here to initiate your landing. The cannon galleons will target this castle first. That one is probably gonna be the next, and then he also just got nowhere to go. He's trying to get war galleys out, but he's got 4 docks with galleons, sure, but there is, for example, no careening on these ships. There is no Karak, and even though these galleys or galleons would have a lot more HP than the galleons from Daniel, at the end of the day, the numbers are what matter. 63 against 7. There is Karak, which would give 1 extra pierce armor for your galleons, but it doesn't matter as long as you don't have careening, or as long as you're outnumbered 5 galleons to 52. So yeah, this feels like a very, very desperate breakout attempt here by Daniel, as he's still massively outnumbered in terms of ship numbers. The castle is being shelled by cannon galleons, and it seems very, very likely that we're going to see game number 3 with an even score, as SayMyName is only 6 villagers behind, but he has 6 times the navy of his opponent, and Daniel's just got nowhere to go. His resources are gonna get denied from the shoreline. Look at that. So much destruction is caused by the galleons, and then he's trying to repair that castle with everything he's got, but Obviously, this is everything but sustainable. He's spending way too much stone on repairing that one. Tries to break out here with 10 galleons now, but there's also Byzantine fast fires, which are extremely devastating. But it is still 69 ships against 13. There's barely anything, and there's a transport, there's the castle. It looks like SayMyName likes to play this one with the safe way. I think I like that. He can collect this relic, which would be nice for him. He already has collected 2. Daniel also has, I think, 2 relics in his monastery. But SayMyName could get the relic advantage with this. SayMyName could get gold and stone advantage with this. Obviously, in the very, very, very long game, when the resources are completely out on this map, the Feitorias will start swinging the battle back in the favor of the Byzantine player or the Portuguese player, but I don't think that's going to be a factor because the advantage for SayMyName here is just too much for Daniel to come back to. Like, you see that Daniel's trying to get new docks up, but he's hitting a production bottleneck because he has nowhere to build docks at. He needs a castle to defend those docks, but we have a big enough fleet here for SayMyName that he can just say, okay, I'm gonna dive in and snipe the Voyagers, doesn't really matter for me. Daniel taps out, and SayMyName with sort of a surprising game over here. Number one, he played really well. Number two, he actually used Byzantine galleons and war galleys, and he did it very, very well. So really used his early Imperial power spike nicely, but even before that, the war galley play was actually very, very outstanding from him. And he secures game number 2 for himself. This brings us to the home map of Daniel. In fact, the first home map of Daniel, which is either Slopes or a Gold Rush. Byzantines are gone for SayMyName, and the Portuguese are gone for Daniel. And it seems like the first home map for Daniel is going to be Slopes. So let's get into that, as we are going to have Daniel playing on the right side in blue as Mayans. Left side is the more conventional, but I think a very, very overrated civilization pick of Indians here for SayMyName. So Indians used to be great on this map, but with the lower amount of fish in the shore fishing ponds, I feel like they're just not amazing anymore economically. And I feel like unit composition wise, they were never an impressive civilization for this map. What made them very, very brutal for this one in Hidden Cup 3 is the fishing bonus that they had and all the fish that was available on this map. But without that, I feel like the Indians here isn't really a great civilization. Apparently Daniel tried the lane over here, but that was unsuccessful. Now he can still heal up his ego here, which is definitely helpful. One of the reasons why it is better to lane with a Meso civilization is because you can heal up your ego after a failed laming attempt or even a successful laming attempt. We're going to have a premier rush over here from Daniel, and that could work out because his opponent is moving out to the shorefish. So this rush could actually find a very, very nice connection, and I believe that Daniel has seen the mill. It is also fairly obvious that SayMyName has seen that eagle, so he knows that his opponent knows that he's here, which means that he went for what is actually going to be a 19 pop Feudal Age for what is probably a scout's play here from him. But I feel like, especially against scouts, you could actually punish this one by playing a Drush FC with Mayans. And I feel like one of the reasons why I pick Mayans here, longer lasting resources will help you a lot when it comes to a Drush FC. So I'm tempted to say this is not a Drush into Archers build. This feels more like a Drush FC, especially with all the walling that we're seeing over here. Militia's on the way to get some damage done on these Voyagers, as SayMyName will just wall those in. So the thing is that oftentimes we're seeing that the Drush FC player is still going to be caught into Castle Age by his opponent, because the opponent is able to compensate with fishing and hunting eco. That doesn't seem to be the case over here though, because those Voyagers will have to be evacuated, and the Drush is actually going to find a very, very nice connection over here. Exactly what Daniel needed. So forcing away the opponent from the shorefish like that is actually a nice value. In fact, you even made your opponent make a couple of Palisade walls, which make it even worse, as we are going to have a block attempt here by Daniel. Snipes one Voyager, very nicely done by him. As that basically means that SayMyName's eco here is not really amazing. He's at 17 Voyagers in Feudal Age, and he was counting on that fishing eco to come in clutch for him. And by the time his scouts come out, his opponent is gonna be in Feudal Age, and probably on the way towards Castle Age, so I would massively doubt that SayMyName Scouts play is going to do much here. I feel like SayMyName tried to play this map just like it was played in Hidden Cup 3, but I'm not even sure if he knew that there were changes to the pawns. Because this can always be a tricky thing for players in tournaments, that maybe if a tournament had multiple additions and you played in the previous ones, you just look at the map list and you say, hey, I played Slopes already, I played Gold Rush already, I know that map. But in reality, sometimes there are changes implemented on those maps, and players might not even think that there were changes implemented. And I'm not sure if that was the case here for SayMyName, but I feel like Indians, and overall what he's doing, the Indian go for a mill, go for a fast scouts play is very, very Hidden Cup 3-esque, but the thing is that it only worked out well when you had a lot of fish on those pawns. It no longer is an amazing play, I believe, and truth being told, SayMyName is actually going back to the shore fish, so he's going to be able to really capitalize on the Indian fishing bonus. But you see that nowadays more and more people are trying a Drush FC here to punish the player that is going for the fast scouts. Now, however, as I said, because of the extra eco that you get from the fishing, not just with Indians, but generally with other civilizations, so the extra fishing and hunting that you get on these pawns, and the fact that the Drush FC player isn't actually denying those, because once you clean up the Drush, or once you just track it and you know that it's not going to hit you, you can actually move out to both of these pawns and actually catch up in Castle Age time quite nicely, because you are going to have the superior eco. So that's something that is worth keeping in mind, as we're going to have another militia being added here by Daniel. His food count is very, very low, and I think he's going to turn this into Man-at-Arms play, because this is going to be everything but a fast castle. This is actually a 27 Voyager Drush Archer play that's going to be converted to a Drush into, or Drush Man-at-Arms type of a play. So this is very, very interesting from Daniel. I don't think that was the initial plan, but it seems like he adjusted his build order kind of on the fly. We'll see if he cancels Man-at-Arms after taking quite a lot of damage on his militias, but well, still some of those militias are alive, and he could technically get the Man-at-Arms in time, but nope, he decides he doesn't need Man-at-Arms and just trades off the militia against those scouts. But this is actually a dream for ACCM now. Or did I just say ACCM? I wanted to say SayMyName. ACCM is a long-time teammate of SayMyName, so that's why I messed that up. So, here's the deal. If you summarize everything, Daniel went for what seemed like it was a Drush FC into an Archer's build, but he never went out for the hunt or the shorefish. His opponent went for a fast scouts build, but he was never punished for it with a fast castle, and at the end of the day, he's still going to have the fishing and hunting eco working for him. So now, SayMyName is actually going to start capitalizing on the eco bonus. It's not about the eco bonus of Indians, it's about the extra eco you're getting with the fishing and hunting. So this would be the same for every civilization, basically. Obviously, Indians actually benefit more from the shorefish, but it's just a small thing. Now, it's double range archers from Daniel, and it's going to be a mixture of archers and skirms, and there's only one range from SayMyName, so he still has to be careful, and his wood count is dangerously low. So getting a second range out for skirmishers could be a little bit challenging, and his base is wide open. So Daniel may actually start punishing him for this one. There is a spearman on the field. The spearman needs to survive, otherwise those scouts will actually be able to take a good engagement. But if the spearman does survive, then the scouts will actually be picked off by it. Nice micro so far from SayMyName. Picking up the spearmen, scouts will finish off the militias, and that is an excellent fight for SayMyName once again. Scouts coming in clutch, finishing off the skirmishers. And for a player that has the fishing eco on the outside as well, only one range, he is very, very good in positioning. So being able to hold one range against two ranges is excellent. And you see that he's floating a lot more resources. In fact, he was able to take this decent engagement even without fletching, as he's just getting that upgrade in for himself. +1 defense already on the way for Daniel. So, still, Daniel's numbers are actually increasing very, very hard, and there is a couple of low HP Voyagers that could be picked off as well. Daniel already killed one from his opponent, make it 2 in the entire game, and now that the hunt and fish is running out, suddenly Daniel's eco is gonna be just as good as the opponent's eco, and he's double range archer skirms, whereas his opponent doesn't really have much. In fact, if you're Daniel, you actually start adding Eagles, indeed. Just like in the case of Red Bull Volu, I've been always saying that if you play Meso Civ, and one of the reasons why Meso Civs are so strong in Empire Wars is because you can add a couple of Eagles to your Archer build. So it's not just Archers, Skirms by themselves, it's Archers, Skirms, Eagles, and you don't need another building for that. So unlike the non-Meso Civs that need a stable for scouts to fight against skirmishers, you can use your barracks, and that's actually a massive thing in Empire Wars. Obviously here, there is already a stable up for SayMyName, so it's not really a big deal, but if this was Empire Wars, what you would see is that if both players go for ranges, the Meso Civ has a nice edge because he can use its already existing barracks for Eagles. So really, Eagle, Archer, and Skirm is the ideal composition here for Daniel, and as I said, the food is running very low over here for these Ibexes, so the second range is coming out for SayMyName, who is sort of struggling with a bit of a production bottleneck. You see that if he actually got a market up, he could potentially think about going into Castle Age here, because the thing is that his resources are looking pretty decent for that. In fact, he's still getting the benefit from the hunt over here a little bit, so his eco is still ahead compared to his opponent, even though he's 2 villagers behind. But there's a market, and we'll see what Danny Boy does. Maybe he thinks he will sell his stone. I don't think that would be a great decision, but he could definitely think about selling his stone and transitioning into Eagles. And in fact, that's what he should be doing. Because what are Indians going to do against Eagles? Camels aren't good against Eagles, or at least not good enough for like a sustained amount of time. There is indeed the stone being sold for Daniel, so he probably wants to go for full Eagle play, and I think that's right. One of the reasons why Indians are a little bit problematic Castle Age civilizations because they don't have knights, which means that they somewhat struggle against Eagles, and even though camels are sort of okay-ish, I think the problem that camels have against the Eagles is that their damage output is low. Like, they survive long enough against the Eagles, it's a matter of being able to kill those Eagles that is concerning. If this was Aztecs, it would be even better for Daniel, but with Mayans, he can do this one very well as well. So, nice move to pick off the skirmishers, and for now, Daniel could actually find these villagers over here. I'm not sure if he saw the mill. He now sees the mill, and he will actually send the archers that way immediately. SayMyName knows that the archers are coming, so he's going to send his units to the left side. I don't think that Daniel's going to find this. Slightly better castlage time over here for SayMyName, who seems like he will just play crossbows here, still adding archers. So I think for Daniel, he kind of needs to be careful not to die to the early crossbows, but after that, the Eagle Switch should be able to overrun his opponent. One thing that is different between two players is that SayMyName was able to go up to Castle Age at the same time as Daniel, but didn't have to sell his stone because he had the extra eco from the Shorefish and the Hunt. Whereas his opponent had to sell his stone for this one, which is going to limit Daniel's ability towards expanding to the outside for wood lines. Whereas I think SayMyName will probably drop a TC on this wood line right after he reaches castle, and probably a second TC on this gold, or other option is University Ballistics. Yeah, it's 700 wood, that should be enough for one extra TC University Ballistics without any major problems, and he will be sitting on 12 archers, 9 skirms versus 10 archers, 5 skirms. So what Daniel has to keep in mind is that he needs to keep his ego numbers up high here, because this is the hardest part of the ego transition, the feudal age to castle age, as that's going to be crossbow botkin, elite skirm, boso. But then he's already preparing the Eagle Switch. He is having Scale Mail and Forging, which are both extremely important upgrades over here. And when he reaches Castle, he needs to go for Eagle Warrior and Chainmail. Chainmail comes in first for the extra Pierce Armor. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because both Eagle Warrior and Chainmail will give you one extra Pierce Armor. So Pierce Armor-wise, the two upgrades are pretty much identical. And there's a Siege Workshop coming in as well. If you get the Eagle Warrior upgrade, then you're good to go, I think, with +1/+2. Although Squires is also nice to grab, because otherwise those Eagles are surprisingly slow. So really, as I said, the hardest part of this Eagle Switch is the early Castle Age, the Chainmail, Eagle Warrior, Squires combo. Now, Daniel actually wants to save that army, and that's the right thing to do, I believe. He's got enough crossbows or archers to justify a crossbow switch, and now the Eagles are coming in. I think we'll soon see Daniel diving in with all his archers as well. And those are actually very, very scary Eagles, and Siege Workshop is not going up just yet. And a lot of that army from SayMyName is skirmishers, which means that they don't do much of a damage to the Eagles which now starting to materialize over here. And as I said, especially with just one stable, Indians are really struggling against Eagles, because unlike a Knight switch from other civilizations, you can't just make monks against Eagles. Monks don't actually convert Eagles very well, you don't have Knights against the Eagles, and this is really the unit that Dania has to go for. You can sort of say that the Mayans here is almost a counterpick to the Indians, and let's say that Indians are more than predictable for this map. You see that this army got absolutely shattered, and now Daniel could just commit, run past the TC, and run into the eco. We have to keep in mind though that SayMyName is going to be playing on 3 TCs in here, but right now the villager count is dead even between the two players, and I feel like if you are Daniel right now, you consider forward siege workshop and you consider sending villagers to stone, because this map is actually pretty suitable for a castle drop as well for an aggressive play, and you might actually want to gamble on playing 1 TC. There is a monk collecting the relic, that's actually a nice decision as well. You could go for the corners. The relic positions are preset. One is in the middle, one is close to each of these ponds. I think that they used to be right next to the pond, but it seems like they changed that a little bit, so it's a little bit further away, a little bit less predictable. Look at Daniel. Look at Daniel's resources though. That is actually going to be a straight Imperial Age play. I am somewhat stunned how he was able to go up this fast, but the reason why is because he took a so good engagement that he kinda was able to stop making military, while his opponent had to go for 3 TCs. He's going for university, ballistics, keeps adding crossbows. These are all expensive things to do. Whereas Daniel, all he did was just go up to Castle Age, get the upgrades in, and then he's just keeping this away with the Eagle Warriors. And I don't think I have to let you know this, but you probably figured it out by yourselves that an Imperial Age here would probably seal the deal for Daniel. Especially if he actually adds villagers to stone. Now I would say that he should definitely consider adding villagers to stone. You could also try keeping that army alive with the archers, maybe try to poke and probe on the left side, see if there is something over there. You could even make a case for a crossbow upgrade if you want to. But now I think that what Daniel needs to do is just drag this army out here in a like nice and open area over here and bring in the eagles. This is not a perfect spot because your eagles will be attacking downhills or at uphills, but this is exactly what Daniel should be doing. Drag this army out here, now you can get a good surround. And even though these are just Castle Age Eagles and you probably want to get a lot of Imperial Age Eagles here, this is exactly the type of fight that you're looking for. Picking off most of the skirmishers, most of the crossbows over here, nice choke point will be found by SayMyName, and I like that Daniel didn't overcommit to that. He killed as many as he could, and really, Mayan Eco is crazy over here. Mayan Eco is absolutely crazy. Daniel's got a crazy food eco. 22 on food. I feel like the trick here is that Eagles don't cost a lot of food, and also you just have 1 TC, so really 22 villagers on food basically all work towards the Imperial Age goal here. And that's gonna be enough, I think, for Elite Eagle and Plate Barding at the same time. And you see that SayMyName is going to attack into Cavalry, but like even Imperial Age camels would struggle against Eagles, especially if the Eagles have Eldorado. That's not a real thing right now for Daniel, but he's adding villagers to stone, which means that eventually that's gonna be a castle. And I think now Daniel could consider dropping additional TCs for himself, now that he has the imp lead, and because he will be having the upper hand over his opponent. He's definitely outnumbered in villager count, but it doesn't really matter as long as his army is going to be an absolute dominant force. In fact, even his Castle Age army should be able to dominate his opponent, let alone his imp army. He's waiting for a lead. He should wait for a little bit more until +4 defense kicks in, just to be sure that he loses the minimal amount of ego as possible. But for now, he will actually just start diving in beneath the TCs and overrun his opponent with Eagles. As I said, a little bit of a premature engagement over here because +4 is not in just yet, but Imperial Age Eagles with +4 defense will just eat the crossbows here. They will just eat the camels. Mangonels are going down. Quite a lot of Eagles actually died over here, but I think most of this comes from the TC fire. And now Daniel is just going to flood Eagles in here. Mangonels are melting the TCs. Crossbows went down. And look at the army for SayMyName. He's got none. He's got none. And really, Daniel's Eagle switch here, in the early Castle Age moments, it actually looked scary for him. But after that, while he was able to retain his Ego numbers, and like he took the fight over here at this part of the map, ever since then, the game was in his favor, and this is a very, very clean tech switch into Eagles. One of the reasons why Mayans are so much beloved as a civilization is because they have very, very clean tech switches, and that was very nicely executed by Daniel. Played a 1TC play, super aggressive on this map, whereas his opponent went for a much more defensive and eco-oriented build, but as I said, I feel like this could have been a completely different game if this was something else than Indians, because any other civilization could have mixed in knights to deal with this one. Even then, this would have been tough to fight against, because you would have been overrun by Imperial Age Eagles. But especially against Indians that do not have knights, I feel like Daniel punished SayMyName Civ selection here so well, and SayMyName civilization selection here was obvious. The only map where Indians are legitimate in 1v1 right now in the map pool is this, but as I said, I have been massively doubting the legitimacy of Indians on this map. I feel like they are by far the most overrated civ on this map. There are way better options like Mongols, or for example Mayans even. Basically any civilization is better than Indians here. Well, not any of them, but the majority of them are actually better than Indians. The eco boost that you get from the Shorefish isn't big enough to justify having a civilization that is so much reliant on camels and borderline one-dimensional. They are not really one-dimensional because they do have good cav archers and good camels, but they have so many weaknesses, especially this eagle switch. And I believe that one of the reasons why we're seeing so many meso civs being picked here is because they're just trying to counter the obvious Indians pick here. So we're going to the second home map of SayMyName over here, which is going to be Bay. For Bay, I would think it's fairly obvious we're seeing Lithuanians versus either Mongols or Japanese. And it is going to be a Japanese versus Lithuanians matchup. We'll jump into the game over here. We are going to have SayMyName coming in here as Lithuanians in red. And right side is going to be Japanese for Daniel in blue. So once again, we'll fast forward through Dark Age a little bit over here. And Daniel will be playing in Japanese in blue, as I said. And the fast dock play from Lithuanians is something that you could not see. I'm not going to lie, I feel like SayMyName feels unprepared for me. Like, you pick Lithuanians for a fast dock play, but this is a standard dock play from Lithuanians, and Lithuanians are still a strong civ with that, but you're actually giving away the biggest eco boost that you could have from Lithuanians here. And that build wasn't really used in Hidden Cup 3, it's more like something that became popular with Hidden Cup 4 as SayMyName wins that Scout War. But I feel like, based on the previous game and the fact that SayMyName went for the fairly obvious but not so great Indians pick, and now the fact that he's not using the biggest advantage that Lithuanians would give you on this map or any other hybrid map, the fast dock play of the Byzantines, I feel like, I think that he's a little bit unprepared, because his strategies look, it's gonna sound weird, but it looks outdated. He kind of feels like he was playing in Hidden Cup 3, but the meta involved so much, especially the understanding of Lithuanians. Like, when Hidden Cup 3 was played, Lithuanians were played for like, basically less than half a year. So Lithuanians were introduced in November 2019 with Definitive Edition. Hidden Cup 4, or Hidden Cup 3 was 2020 April, so basically Lithuanians were there for half a year, and they were completely broken for half of it, because of the infinite attack bonus from the relics. So there was very, very little tournament experience with Lithuanians in Hidden Cup 3. The understanding of Lithuanian build orders now is much better for Hidden Cup 4, and it kind of feels like SayMyName didn't really receive the memo on this, because what he's doing is good, but sort of outdated, to be honest. Both the Indians picked in the previous one, but especially this build. He could have had a much much bigger advantage. He's playing standard hybrid map build with Lithuanians. Now that still gives you a nice advantage going into Feudal Age, but at the end of the day, Daniel is going to be on free docks. He's going to have harder to kill fishing ships as well, which is something to keep in mind. But you also have to keep in mind that just like on the first water map, Islands, that's a nice demo hit from SayMyName, SayMyName seems to be much more adept at naval engagements than Daniel is. So you really see that Daniel isn't really thriving in these water scenarios. And the reason why SayMyName picked these two home maps for himself, I assume, is because he understands that on water engagements, like pure water engagements, he's probably the better player. And obviously Islands is one of those maps. But then the other map where you could see a lot of water fights, in fact, the game almost guaranteed starts with a water fight, is this one. So demo is coming in right now. It's only 2 dogs from SayMyName against 3 though, so that may be insufficient in the long run to give you the numbers that you need. One of the reasons why Daniel is able to afford an additional dock here is because of the Japanese cheaper lumber camp, mill and mining camp bonus. That is a very, very underrated bonus, but just like the faster working fishing ships, the stronger fishing ships, an additional naval related bonus for Japanese is that you spend less wood in your drop-off buildings, which helps immensely in early feudal age. That being said, SayMyName is actually now having a firm control over water, I believe. Beautiful move to sink 2 fire galleys, responded by Daniel by sinking 2 other. This dam was going to dive in over here and will be deleted. A perfect hit over there, sinking 3 fishing ships and a fire galley, and it seems like Daniel has been cleaned up from water. Not a very, very unfamiliar sight, I have to say. Not the first time that it would have happened, although Daniel also sunk some of those fire galleys, so this is the moment where you're just gonna use your demo if you're Daniel and snap the fishing ships. SayMyName tries to split away, and he does successfully. The demo only catches 1 fire fishing ships, but there is the second demo coming in. SayMyName is reacting to that one once again, and 1 demo trade to 1 fishing ship isn't really a great trade over here. We're going to have a Barax coming in here for SayMyName already. Barax on the way as well. For Daniel, interesting positioning. He wants to go for the hunt. So oftentimes we have seen players that are losing the water compensating with the hunt, but it's a dangerous move because once you lose water, land engagements are absolutely viable. And SayMyName already is out with the Voyagers on the hunt. I don't like that he sent his low HP Voyagers here. That could be very, very easy Voyager kills for Daniel if he was around. So at this very moment, it seems like SayMyName is winning water, even though he only has 1 fishing ship, so that is not a huge advantage for him. What is a huge advantage is that he was on hunt a lot earlier, and he also sees his opponent being on hunt, or at least Daniel will be on hunt eventually, and the archer range is coming up over there. There's a range on the way to for SayMyName, as a blacksmith is coming in as well for him. Soon he's gonna have to balance out his eco, as he's floating a lot more gold than his opponent does. So we'll see if a market is going to be something that happens for him soon. Both of the players are playing with relatively open bases, but at least Daniel's putting an effort on walling it off. Whereas SayMyName sort of plays open. There's the market coming in to buy himself up to Castle Age here, as the docks are slowly going down from Daniel. It seems like Daniel is not willing to contest water at all. He's got 1 more demo in here. He might be waiting with this demo because what he's hoping in is that SayMyName is going to add some more fishing eco, and the longer you wait, the higher probability that you will encounter more fishing ships on the water. And because of that, you wait with that demo to unleash it, and when you assume that your opponent already has quite a lot of fishing ships, you will just unleash it and try to snap the fish. But in reality, SayMyName only has 1 fishing ship, so that doesn't change this one. And I think now SayMyName could actually think about adding fishing ships, because he kind of has to get something for winning water, right? And in the meanwhile, we have Spearman coming in. Did I mention that sending out the low HP Voyagers is a disaster? Because it is. Skirmishers are in here, but if these were full HP Voyagers, this would not be 2 Voyagers killed, but it would be maybe 1 or 0 Voyagers killed. So, some sloppy moves over here from SayMyName at the end of the day, as he's beating his opponent to Castle Age though, and that's going to be a massive advantage for him. Daniel is not impossibly far away, but he still needs quite a lot of time to get there, and we could see some early nights that could become very, very dangerous. Daniel also getting a stable up against the Skirmishers, but as I said, at this point SayMyName will drop his own stable, go for Knights, probably forward Siege Workshop, and mount an assault against the opponent's base. And now SayMyName sees that, hey, I'm actually controlling water, there is no more ships guaranteed, so now I can start adding fishing eco. Obviously it's going to take some time until the fishing eco kicks in for him, but when it does, he's gonna have a nice little eco advantage over his opponent. A 1-minute lead into Castle Age is going to happen, as Daniel is not making a single scout right now, so it might be for Knights. But SayMyName is almost done with that stable. And it looks like SayMyName is also going to mix in more skirmishers. He's even going for fletching over here, assuming that his opponent is going to go archers, and that's actually the right assumption from him. His opponent hasn't upgraded anything on those archers yet, though. And we got a scout here, which means that these skirmishers might actually get picked off by a single scout. What you could actually try if you're SayMyName is running towards the water here. Because if you run to the water, the fire galley can help against the scout. You won't be able to kill the scout with your skirmishers, but you could try running towards the water. But that's not something that SayMyName actually did. There's a second stable on the way, and here come the knights from our red player. The water has been cleaned up, and now indeed the fire galley is going to do quite a lot of damage to the scout. It seems like Daniel is going to see that he's up against stables. And one thing that you always have to keep in mind is that Japanese have very, very devastating pikemen. So Japanese pikemen, or even spearmen against the early knights, could definitely be a good solution for Daniel. If he sees, hey, there are knights coming here, these knights have 0 upgrades. No defense upgrades, no attack upgrades, no HP boosts, nothing on those guys right now. 4 villagers lead at this very moment for SayMyName, as it looks like we're going to have crossbows from Daniel. I would love to see him adding a couple of spearmen, and he does. And a combination of pikemen and crossbows could be a very devastating over here against SayMyName, who is going for TC number 2. Scout still alive from Daniel, and he's waiting for the time to pop out. He might even be waiting for Botkin, but nope, now he jumps out. These knights do not have any upgrades, so these crossbows with +1 defense, supported by Japanese spearmen, will actually be pretty nice. It seems like Daniel will be playing 1 TC though, whereas his opponent is going to start booming, so it is in the hands of Daniel to take the initiative and actually start pushing the opponent's base with siege. Otherwise, he's gonna get outboomed pretty hard over here. And you have to keep in mind that it's one thing that you get outboomed, you also have to collect relics against Lithuanians. Otherwise, the Lithuanian player is just going to have insane knights in later stage of the game. So let's see if you're seeing a lead skirms from SayMyName. It seems unlikely. Instead, he's going for scorpions to deal with demo. Here's a demo, and it looks like you see Daniel notices that and he runs back immediately. He knows that a demo could be very, very devastating. But you see that what SayMyName is trying to do is hold these walls and try to force the opponent to come around this way and try to use a demo to sink that army, but that seems somewhat unlikely, though you have to add that those knight numbers are slowly increasing, and if they get a couple of upgrades, they should be able to clean up this army very, very easily. And SayMyName also has a fishing eco working for him. 7 villagers lead and 3 TCs as opposed to his opponent only having 1 and not even building a second. It's double stable knights now for Daniel though, so Daniel seems like he wants to commit to this push, but if he really wants to, he needs to get a couple of rams or mangonels on the front line. Scale boarding on the way for SayMyName, so just like he was waiting for unleashing the knights in game number 1 Arabia against his opponent, he's also going to wait here until he gets the upgrades, tries to be patient as much as possible and sit behind his walls until he feels confident taking the fights. And there is the monastery coming in. He probably wants to grab at least that relic over there because that would be an easy +1 attack upgrade for him, and he wouldn't have to research forging for that. Buying a bit of a food because he probably wants to grab +2 defense here before taking this one. So let's see, indeed, that's waiting for +2 defense, which is gonna come in a moment. Monk will actually run out for a relic. It's a little bit sloppy from Daniel that he's not using these leftover scouts for relic denial. He could actually keep a scout over here, he could actually keep scouts over here. Potentially, this relic is important for Daniel to deny, and this one. The other two are much harder for his opponent to grab, so those are the 2 relics of focus. +2 defense coming in right now, as there's going to be a 4th monastery on the way for Daniel. So we wants to get a couple of conversions, and honestly, Daniel's army numbers are looking much better. 11 knights, 12 crossbows, against only 6 knights, and now the knights camp down the gate over there. There is a couple of scorpions to support against the crossbows, but still, I'm not impressed about SayMyName's army numbers by any means. TC fire obviously is going to help quite a lot, and the cavalry quality is also a little bit weaker for Daniel. Although, look at his opponent. SayMyName is still having issues not having bloodlines, just grabbing relic number 1, but his opponent is gonna have +2 defense and bloodlines, so those knights from SayMyName won't really be amazing in here. And honestly, Daniel's behind by 14 villagers, but I feel like once again, we're seeing something similar to the previous game, that SayMyName is just chilling inside his base, and Daniel is sort of the one pushing. I feel like the only thing that you need if you're Daniel, as Daniel sends out the Monk here, I think he wants to grab the Relic, but that's too late. So I feel like if you're Daniel, you need a Siege Workshop though. You really need a Siege Workshop, because if you don't start pushing your opponent very soon, he's just going to outboom you. There's already a 14 Voyagers lead in the favor of SayMyName, and Daniel commits to taking down that TC. We'll see if it actually is going to work out. The Knights still having no bloodlines here for SayMyName, but he will still take this engagement, or at least so it seems. TC Fire is going to help quite a lot here for SayMyName. He just wants to delay this TC going down, that's the thing. He doesn't want to fight this one just yet. He isolates a couple of Knights over here, which is a nice find, although the upgrades on these Knights are pretty much the same. So, unless SayMyName finds some better numbers for himself or better upgrades, he's gonna be in trouble here. Stable number 3 is up though, so Knight numbers are slowly equalizing. Now it's 15 to 16. There is still crossbow support, but there is Scorpion support on the other side. SayMyName buying a bit of a stone over here. I wonder if that's for an additional town center, because that's the only reason why he would buy 100 stone. So here come the Scorpions, slightly mispositioned. Knights might actually dive on top of them. Indeed, that's the case. Although now the Knights are sort of separated from the crossbows over here. This is the fight that SayMyName has been waiting for. Unleashes his own Knights, +1/+2 from both players. But I feel like the Knight numbers are slowly going down for Daniel. It's still 12 Knights against 10. There's still crossbows supporting, but the Scorpions are alive, and the Scorpions will be able to push away the crossbows. So once again, the timing was actually nice from SayMyName. He was able to delay Daniel's push until he was ready to take that, and now he surrounds all those crossbows, and Daniel immediately taps out. I think he knows, like, I think Daniel knows exactly that he was up against multiple TCs, right? He has to. He knows about 2 TCs, 3 TCs, yeah, he knows. That's understandable why. So, basically, 3 TCs here for SayMyName. Daniel is on 1, he lost water, he knows exactly, he's up against Lithuanians, your opponent has a much stronger eco, so you kind of have to go for a very aggressive Castle Age push. If that doesn't work out, you're just gonna get outboomed, and that's exactly what happened. SayMyName evens this one out, and we are going to play a decider game over here, so we'll have Lithuanians gone for SayMyName. Once again, I feel like his approach to the game or build orders are sort of outdated, as I say, as the final home map for Daniel will be Gold Rush. If it's Gold Rush, it's probably... Oh, this is tough. I think it's Khmer. We have seen Khmer so many times on Gold Rush with the fast castle, and if you're SayMyName and you're trying to counter that, you pick Slavs. So I think Slavs versus Khmer is definitely something that we could see. Alternative is Berbers. Berbers versus Khmer is a very, very common civilization matchup in here, because Berbers can be very good and with the early aggressive Knights play. So we will jump into the final game of the set over here, and it's going to be Berbers versus Khmer, which honestly starts becoming a very, very frequent sight. On this map, we will have SayMyName on the left side as Berbers in red, right side is going to be Daniel playing in blue as Khmer. So, the idea here is that with Khmer you can actually go for a very, very fast Castle Age, and that can be very punishing, and I feel like this could once again be one of those game plans for Daniel, where, as I said, I feel like the outdated gameplay of SayMyName might actually get surprised about this one, because this is not something that we have seen in a lot of tournaments before. A Khmer fast castle on such a... Like, we have seen this fast castle on Arena, we have seen this on Hideout, but we haven't really seen it on Gold Rush that much up until Hidden Cup, to be honest, or at least not based on my tournament experience, and I can tell you that I've been casting the majority of the tournaments, so this is one of the very few occasions when we're actually seeing this Khmer fast castle being played on this map. And since, as I said, I felt like SayMyName, as he's going for feudal, so SayMyName wants to go for a 19-pop scouts build here, but what for? I really feel like SayMyName is playing 2020 Age Vampires, but in just 1 year, Age Vampires has evolved so much as a game. The build orders, the constantly changing civilizations, because of the civilization balance also changes a lot of things here. And also, every tournament has a slightly different version of a certain map script. Some Gold Rushes are more vulnerable, some are less vulnerable. So, a Scout Rush, especially on this script, This Hidden Cup for Gold Rush isn't really viable. It seems like Daniel's gonna do the same thing though, so as outdated and old school SayMyName's build is here, is the same for Daniel. So he's not actually willing to go for the fast castle play here with the Khmer, he just wants to play pure Scouts War. But in this case, I actually give the advantage to the Khmer in securing a good position in the game, as we have a lot of T-Shadow time here for SayMyName because he's housed. You see, getting housed for that long hurts so badly. That's -1 Voyager every 25 seconds. So he just lost 1.5 Voyagers over here, almost 2 Voyagers, just because of getting housed. So here's the deal. Khmer will not be able to win these Scouts Wars. There is no way that they can do that because they can't make Spearmen if they don't make a Brax. But the Khmer will have the much better food eco. Both players will have a double bit axe and horse color. So they should be the civilization that beats the opponent into Castle Age. However, this could be an opening for SayMyName. He knows about that, but these walls are very weak and Pulsar foundations have been nerfed, so these scouts could actually do a lot of damage, whereas the walls are already set for Daniel, so SayMyName has little hopes of getting through those walls, whereas Daniel could definitely try getting through this part of the wall. Another Voyager comes out. That is going to be... I think that's going to be broken through. SayMyName tries to reroll that one, and that's going to be a nice last second reroll there. That was a life-saving thing for him, because those scouts could have been inside his eco very soon. So, the thing is that the Khmer player should be able to beat the opponent into Castle Age, but in Castle Age, Berber should have the upper hand with cheaper cavalry and the camos as an option to mix in. I feel like that's where the Berbers really start shining in this one. Still, however, you have to play aggressive with the Berbers, because otherwise your opponent is just going to outboom you with Khmer and beat you to Imperial. So, right now these scouts aren't really inflicting a lot of damage, and this is one of the reasons why I'm saying that scouts play here is very old school, to be honest, because they're really not doing much of a damage. Players are walled off so fast that oftentimes, well, in fact, in like 99% of the cases, a scout opening does nothing on a map like Gold Rush in Hidden Cup 4. This is actually a bit of an annoyance for SayMyName because he's gonna have to repair that stable. I actually like the decision from Daniel to do this aggression here, because SayMyName can't afford to lose that stable, but if he wants to repair, it's going to cost him some wood. So even though you're not killing anything with your scouts, you're forcing your opponent to spend wood repairing that building. And I think it's much cheaper to just add a palisade wall layer behind this palisade aggression from SayMyName than it is to actually repair this stable. This stable is going to cost you a lot more to repair than it is to add a couple tiles palisade behind these. So I think that SayMyName could also do the same thing, just try to push that stable with the scouts. I think that stable, like this side, is actually outside of the TC's range, so it's not really going to be a big deal. And it looks like SayMyName will just say, okay, I'm just going to pull my scouts back, clean this one up, and whatever. So, Castle Age, you see, it's going to be pretty comparable for the two players. Both of them are still having their stones, so neither of them actually sold it to go up. And if it's even Castle Age times, the advantage is on the side of the Berber player, I believe, over here. Just by unit composition, nice micro from SayMyName. Picks off one scout from the opponent, but then loses another one immediately after. So, Daniel going for Castle Age over here. Soon he's going to be dropping a stable, probably this is going to be the position or this one. And same thing applies for SayMyName. His second stable is probably going to come up over here or so. So it's going to be double stable, but honestly, for SayMyName you could even make a case for triple stable knights and camos. That's where Berbers really shine at. As look at Daniel. He rolls that spearman in and then kills the villager. Remember, Khmer can jump into houses. So that's how that villager got in there. Villager jumped in here to the house from this side, and then jumped out on the other, rolled that spearman around and picks up the spearman. That feels like it's a small thing, but it's actually not, because killing 1 or 2 spearmen like that actually helps quite a lot when it comes to the early night wars. Even 1 or 2 spearmen could be the deciding factor in a night fight at the beginning of Castle Age, especially if you can't kill them fast, because they will do a lot of damage still. They're not amazing against knights, but they still do quite a lot of damage, so if you can kill a spearman like that, that's definitely value over here, and I assume the same thing is going to be there for Daniel, trying to pick off that Spearman, Wolves also joining the party. You also want to preserve your scouts though from Feudal Age, because in a knight versus knight or knight camel type of a fight, it is inevitable to see monks on the field. So the scouts being left alive helps picking off monks, and you will see a second town center coming in here for Daniel alongside Heavy Boso. So he is gonna have a crazy eco going on for himself over here. In fact, he's going stable defense and full boom, whereas his opponent will be playing with what's gonna be a double stable knight and camel, actually just pure camel play alongside monks. But I feel like if it's only double stable and only camel, they won't be able to punish the Khmer hard enough, and we're going to have a free TC play here from Daniel. Now this is very, very greedy. I think if SayMyName goes for triple stable, he doesn't even have to go for camels. Mix in a couple of camels, but just go triple stable knights and camel, then go for a forward siege crop here. You could really start punishing your opponent. There's the monastery from Daniel, and he really wants to just go for a free TC boom. Over here, camels are now out, and eventually both players will need a monastery. Indeed, here come the monks. But I feel like the problem that SayMyName is facing here right now is that he's doing the exact same thing that his opponent is doing, basically. But his opponent is able to boom on 3 TCs, whereas he's only on 1. So these camels will inflict very, very little damage over here, even though it's not ideal to open up your base like that. But the camels won't commit, and you can just sort of use that TC, sit behind it, and as I said, I feel like I'm not really convinced on SayMyName playing passive here. He's going to expand through Goldmine the Widow, which is nice, but you already have a 6 vultures deficit. Your opponent has Heavy Ploboso. Neither of you have wheelbarrows. That's a pure 6 vultures, 7 vultures deficit, and Khmer boom is crazy. If you leave the Khmer player to boom like that, you're just gonna get punished really hard. It's not a genius game plan from Daniel by any means. In fact, it's pretty greedy, I would say, but it's fairly straightforward, and that's something that you have to keep in mind. It's not something that's like super complicated. You just go for a free TC play, and if your opponent is not punishing you for it, then it's a good play. It's actually a very good play if your opponent isn't punishing you for that. I don't think that you have to convert that Spearman. It is better to try and convert Camel over here. I also think that Daniel shouldn't necessarily move out here, although it's a debatable decision. Because ideally, for SayMyName, as here come the monks to try and get a conversion in. So ideally for SayMyName, as a monk is gonna get picked off here, the other monk survives, and there's a camel that got converted, so other monk is going to live to see another day, and there will be a knight converted here as well. So it's a relatively reasonable fight here for Daniel. Neither of the players, actually, there is bloodlines on the units of SayMyName, no bloodlines for Daniel. So the thing is that Daniel kind of has to move out, because he can't just assume that SayMyName is going to sit back and chill. He has to assume that there is going to be a forward siege workshop here, but the reality is that there won't be. SayMyName really is just sitting back home chilling, making a couple of scams and knights, but really, he's not pushing Daniel over here by any means. It's not a triple stable play. I understand what SayMyName is trying to do. He's playing the safer game, he's playing the long game, but you can't just do that against Khmer, who have an insane equal lead. Look at that, 18 villagers lead by now. And you're just getting +1 defense. I feel like for SayMyName, it should have been a strong clue that if you click this knight over here, Daniel has 0 upgrades on those. 0 upgrades means that this is a very greedy, just eco-focused play. If Daniel actually wanted to fight with his knight, he would use upgrades, and he's already attacking into pikemen. Now, obviously, Berbers will have the answer to that in the form of camel archers, but that takes so much time to transition into. And just look at Daniel. He's just outbooming his opponent so easily over here. SayMyName is 2 TCs, and he's making army, but he's not applying any pressure. Now it's a third stable, but I feel like it's way too late, especially with that monk being picked off by the scout. Every monk that gets picked off like that is going to delay this push by a considerable margin. And I feel like that third stable might already be too late, because the pikeman transition is occurring. And once you get like 10-ish pikemen on the field like that, it's gonna be a relatively easy cleanup for Daniel. He's gonna retain his stable, and he's gonna retain his knight, so he can actually snipe potential mangonels or scorpions. And I feel like in 50 seconds, when that pikeman upgrade finishes, SayMyName's chances of winning this game will drop down to something like 5 to 10%. Because his opponent is having a 20 villagers lead in the middle of Castle Age with a unit composition that's clearly capable of destroying whatever SayMyName can bring onto the field currently. And it is Pikeman just now. There were also a couple of conversions. A little too early fight for Daniel over here, but I think that he's going to be able to inflict enough damage here. Is that going to be enough damage? The Pikeman numbers seem a little too low, and we did mention that Berbers are a very dangerous civilization because they can overrun you with knights very, very easily. And I think that is exactly what happened here. The Pikemen are completely unupgraded, not a single upgrade on those. The knights do have pretty decent upgrades, +1/+1. So that obviously helps a little bit here, but at the end of the day, SayMyName is left with just a couple of knights on the field. He's gonna pick off the monk, he's going to stop the siege workshop, sure. But he doesn't really have the tools to push against this pikeman play right now. Here come the scorpions though. So it's sort of now or never for SayMyName. He might still have a small window to counterattack this one. But I feel like if it turns into a pikeman mangonel play from Daniel, so he can actually take down the scorpions with something, he's gonna be able to edge out this victory. Scout dives in, tries to snipe the monk. The monk does have sanctity. No, it doesn't have it, sanctity. So it was just a very, very sturdy monk. More and more pikemen are flooding out. There were a couple of pikemen conversions as well over here from SayMyName that help out. And I'm not a big fan of how Daniel's playing this one, flooding out the pikemen nearly one by one, because really it's really free by free. He needs to wait until he has like 10-15 pikemen inside those. It's not like he's getting pushed directly, that's the thing. So it's not like he's actually in the need of immediately breaking out here. That's cute. That knight is just chilling and not even noticing the Voyager building the siege workshop right next to him. I think SayMyName will know. Don't tell me. Okay, he's going to notice with the Scorpion though. But, okay. For a moment I thought that this siege workshop goes up, which would have been a disaster for SayMyName, because as I said, that siege workshop could be needed to take down the Scorpions. You also have scouts coming in here for Daniel. He's trying to snipe monks with them. He's going to try and snipe scorpions with them as well. Even light cav would be something that you consider. Behind this one, we have to keep in mind that Daniel's food eco is much, much better. In fact, his overall eco is better. So as long as SayMyName is not actively destroying him, Daniel is in a good position. Now Daniel's scouts are really weak over here. Goes for iron casting, but no light cav upgrade, no bloodlines. So he's not going to be able to pick those scorpions off very easily. A lot of pikemen. 42 on foot versus 25, and there is an additional stables coming in. And now it seems like we're going to have more and more light cav coming out for our Khmer players. Scorpion is actually getting some nice hits in here on the pikeman. So now the scouts are diving in. Here's the big fight. And that's a lot of pikemen. And scorpions actually are nice against pikemen as long as you have a meat shield in front. But that's not the case over here, and this is exactly what Daniel had to do right now. In fact, he should use that knight to take down the Scorpion, as he's now overrunning his opponent. He's 8 on stone, which means that castle is going to be imminent. He will be able to finish that siege workshop. And as I said, there is not really anything that SayMyName can do right now to tech switch. He doesn't really have the eco to tech switch into something else. The idea of Wooden would be Camel Archer. And you see that SayMyName is piling up resources for that castle, but it's going to take some more time, and I don't think that he has enough time to get to good Camel Archer numbers here, especially because I would bet a lot that Daniel wants that castle on this hill to secure this hill for himself and potentially think about going into Imperial and trap this position down. So Daniel 8 on stone, we will soon have that castle coming in for him. The siege workshop also will go up over here indeed. Daniel is going to lose one Voyager to a wolf here though. So woo woo says the wolf, and that is going to be -1 Voyager. Imp times could actually be pretty comparable over here. The problem that SayMyName is facing is that his unit composition isn't going to be suitable for beating his opponent. When that happens, I think this castle... I'm not even sure if this castle goes up, honestly, because there's so many pikemen that they might just flood this entire thing and just stop the Voyagers from making this castle. Needless to say is the fact that if this castle is stopped, I think this is game over for SayMyName. He's losing all the knights, and the pikemen aren't really killing Voyagers fast, but there's so many of them that they just don't let them build the building. And the ram is already coming in. Daniel's got 19 on stone, so soon that's going to be turning into a castle. A lot of Voyagers are actually going down to the pikemen here, and that indeed is not going to go up. There is no way it goes up. Daniel just floods the map with the Khmer pikemen, as he's going to click into Imperial in a matter of moments, selling the resources. SayMyName is pulling everything in what is a deciding game, but this is really going to turn into a doubt castle here. This is everything is got. Everything is got. Even if it goes up, it's not gonna matter, because SayMyName is gonna be down to something like, what, 75-ish Voyagers? Yeah, the castle goes up. SayMyName is at 80. The pikemen will get cleaned up, but I think Daniel is actually going for a very, very passive castle here. But now he's on the way to Imperial, and I feel like he did enough damage to say my name here to potentially be able to finish off the game. Truth being told, if he didn't kill all those vultures over here, it's 24 vultures killed compared to 3, this could be a complete different game, because he had the eco lead, but SayMyName was actually relatively close to imping himself. But now that seems like that is not going to be the case. In fact, Imperial Age is just a distant dream for SayMyName. It looks like we're going to have Light Cav from Daniel. He's still not on gold in the middle, so he's just going to use the Khmer farming and get about 20 Light Cav Hussar in. Just try to run into the base of the opponent and kill the eco. And simultaneously is getting battering rams out. I think it's gonna be sort of a hub and siege push in the middle, and Light Cavs will support by raiding the back of SayMyName's economy that's already quite weak. He's trying to reboom into this one, piling up the food as well for Imperial, but he's gonna get beaten to Imperial by at least 2.5 to 3 minutes, as Daniel just mangoed down his own scout over here. So more battering rams on the way, and eventually we are gonna have like look at all the resources for Daniel. He might even be able to squeeze in Hussar right away, although you probably want to go for plate barring first because you want to resist the TC fire. Mangonel out in the middle for Daniel should be able to take a good shot on those scorpions, and he's getting the second castle up in the middle, and he will probably start making a trap immediately. And honestly, one of the weaknesses of Berbers is siege rams, so I'm not sure what Daniel or SayMyName could do against the siege ram push here against his opponent. The Scorpions will survive, so that was a little sloppy from Daniel as he's getting the traps out. There is going to be Hussar on the way as well. Only chain barding just now coming in, so the TC will actually do a lot of damage on those guys, but still the idea is just that you are trying to be annoying with those light calves. It's not an awful lot. Camel archers will have to go back, and there's already traps on the way. 43 army against just 9. That is, regardless of the composition, that feels heavily in the favor of Daniel over here, who's getting the traps out on this hill. He's gonna have the hill advantage over this castle over here, and that's the only castle that SayMyName can use to make army, even though he could afford a second one, or he could just repair this one. But here's the deal. If he wants to make camel archers, he can't make traps. If he wants to make traps, he can make camel archers, whereas Daniel is capable of actually making his units on his production buildings, and he's also capable of getting his traps out at the same time as well. 175 population is 105, as another castle tries to come up over here to get some more camel archers on the field, but I feel like this castle is gonna go down. It doesn't matter that you have camel archers available if you're going to lose the middle and you will have no gold access. Plus, you also have to consider that rams will be pushing you, and camel archers aren't really great against rams either. So I feel like we're just waiting for SayMyName to resign here, because the population, the unit composition, the position on the map, all of these seem to be in the favor of Daniel. Imperial Age is in for SayMyName, but look at this push coming in a matter of moments. Rams already on the way, and the chemistry bracer, but you have 5 camel archers and 6 camels against what's gonna be just a Hussar flood now. That's the thing. Khmer can just flood Hussar at this point of the game. Indeed, here it comes. Big commitment in this one. Stone is running short for SayMyName. The castle goes down. That's one of the 2 castles that can produce camel archers. And if there is no camel archers on the field, then SayMyName can go for camels. He's got 2 stables that can produce those. But there is already halberdiers out with +2/+2 and soon +4/+2 from Daniel. It was an alternating series. Look at this. Daniel wins, SayMyName wins. Daniel wins, SayMyName wins. Daniel wins. And it also seems like both players have won both of their home maps, and this is why the Arabia game was so important. SayMyName taps out, Daniel wins the series, and as I said, Daniel won 2 of his home maps, SayMyName won 2 of his home maps, and the Arabia game was really the one that decided it all. Because it kind of seemed like both players were clearly better than the other on their own respective home maps, but the Arabia game went better for Daniel and ended up winning that one. I think the conclusion of this one is that I'm not sure how prepared SayMyName was for this one, because I feel like, as I said, I don't think that he was completely up to date with the new map scripts, sort of the new meta, like the fast dock Lithuanians play, or potentially picking a different civ than Indians on slopes. Daniel seemed a lot more prepared, and I liked the strategy that he was using on his own home maps. For Daniel, the conclusion is that he needs to step his game up on his on the other home maps, because he was very good on his own home maps and quite underwhelming on the opponent's home maps. And this is something that his future opponents will see as well, regardless of which round we're talking about. So even in the next round, they will say, hey, I saw that Daniel was pretty good on slopes, for example, so I'm just gonna ban slopes and go for islands. So he needs to improve his gameplay a little bit on maps like islands or bay, because otherwise his opponents will be able to punish him on those maps, just like SayMyName was able to. With that, Daniel is getting into the next round of the Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers. The Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers final round deciders will be live streamed on Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend. I will also be streaming that on Twitch. So in case you like my commentary, consider visiting my Twitch, because that's where I do streams, and I usually just export the streams over here on YouTube. This one was a YouTube exclusive cast because I wasn't able to catch this series live, but all those series, so all the deciders, will be streamed on Twitch live, and obviously I will upload those as well once I finish with the streaming every day. So Friday series will be up Friday evening when the series finish on Twitch, and same for Saturday, Sunday. Thank you so much for watching, and as I said, hopefully I see you around in the foreseeable future. There's a link to my Twitch down below, so in case you want to visit it, I will be very happy to see you on chat. Otherwise, have a nice day, and see you in the next qualifiers.